for those of you that don't know me, what the band does, I'm Anthony Bolero, and I've lived in Springfield all my life, and well, except for a couple of years in Carbondale for college. But in any case, to the band, I've watched this band, you guys, since day one. Actually, I was at the first show at Douglas Park, and that I think was before Lad was even in the band, as a matter of fact. So to see everything from the very beginning all the way up till now has been a pretty special thing. It's been about, I think, 10 years or so since you guys played your first show all the way up till now. It's just kind of a weird thing to see it all come to an end, but I obviously understand the reasons behind it. You know, Lad, you're having a kid, and congrats, absolutely. And for everybody else who I've seen kind of come and float through, John Heupel, Eric Leip, Timmy Costello, gosh, and the list goes on. There's a couple that I'm forgetting, actually, and if I don't know if there's any in this room right now or not, but in any case, guys, thanks a lot for a lot of really great tunes and a lot of great memories. We're gonna really miss you guys. So, adios. Thanks a lot.
All right. My name is John Riley. I first met Lad, the lead singer of Park, in Springfield. I got a job at Bread Stretchers downtown Springfield, and the first day I came in there, Lad was the first guy I saw. And before an introduction or anything, he looks at me. He gets a piece of wheat bread, puts it in his shirt, rubs it all over his armpit, shoves the whole thing in his mouth, eats it whole, and then introduces himself to me. And ever since then, I've thought that kid was the funniest kid I've ever met in my life. It's pretty much all I have to say about him, too, because every time I talk to him, I can't help but laugh.
Lad has definitely been the topic of conversation in here.
For sure.
He's a character, man.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing his son.
The next generation of little shitheads.
And it's funny because he's a short little bald guy, but I bet his son's going to be like 6'4" and tower over him. And I hope he beats him up when he's 8. That's what I hope. That's what I'm looking for.
Right,
We go? We're rolling?
Yep.
Alright, what's up, guys? This is Parker. I'm an employee of Bread Stretchers with my boy Lad, a.k.a. lead singer, best looking member of Park. Am I right, buddy? Huh?
Yeah.
First off, I just gotta say, Lad, Miles, bald is beautiful, you know? It's a choice. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, alright, I got a little story about Lad. First time I ever worked with him, I was a naive young pup. Probably around 17 in like 6 days, about. But, so he's like using this like air compressor and like blowing something out, doing something crazy. I mean, obviously this thing's it's going for about like 25 minutes, just pumping out like cold air, like air. And Lad's using it. I mean, this thing's working hard. You know, it's working. So it's gotta be spending some juice, getting warmed up. You know. And so he was like cleaning something out. He's blowing it. That's what he was doing. And I mean, he just walks away from it. We're like, all right, cool, thing's clean or whatever. And then he just goes up and like puts his hand right on it. Like, the thing's gonna be hot, you know. It's been working hard. Like when stuff gets going, it's hot. Anyway, so the thing, it wasn't really like he smacked his hand on it. But he's going to pick it up, and he just burned the piss out of himself. Like really hot. This thing had to be like at least, I'm not like a temperaturologist, but this thing was at least 125 degrees. Hotter than like human skin's used to, you know. We're working at 98.6 under this stuff, so it's pretty hot. Anyway, so I mean, something like that, and he goes, "Ah, fuck!" And I mean, Lad's wee in stature, but when that voice comes out, I mean, he lets it go. And I was like, oh god. Like, it was the first time I ever met the guy in my life. I was a little afraid because he's like, fuck! And then we got like his big chip rack. He walks up to it, grabs a bag of their baked barbecue Lays, which I think taste like old Pringles. You know what I'm saying? They suck. Who wants a baked chip? Fry that shit up. Anyway, he grabs his chip bag, and I mean, he's got some little hands, but they can work some magic on ripping the shit out of a chip bag. Fuck! Chips everywhere. Lad, in a nutshell. That's all I got.
I know. And did I get your name? I don't remember.
Parker Norris, West, y'all.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
So the bed's covered up.
Yeah. We just gotta turn the lights around.
I know. I'll jack off in this chair if you want.
After the show.
I'm dead serious. I'm just kidding.
Do it, dude. Do it.
Fuck.
In the name of Park.
Do I get like dual angles here?
Yeah.
So can I like
You
can I
can
keep?
look at either one of us or both.
So can I make like
Same time,
can I make
close your
like?
eyes.
Yeah, like your
So am I on right now?
Newscast.
Have you ever seen Punked?
Punked?
You're Ashton Kutcher.
I'm Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
I like Wiener. So I don't know Park that well. I know Alex kind of. I think Miles knows my name, but maybe not. Anyhow, I just wanted to say my favorite memory of Park. It's one time they were playing with this super crappy band that these guys are now in my band now, and Lad got super pissed at the drum set and hit it. And then I said, "Wow, that was pretty funny," and that's about it. And I wish Lad and everyone in Park the best because they're super cool guys and they're the best band from Illinois probably for like since like the whole Kinsella thing. So I appreciate it. Bye.
That was awesome. Sweet. Good job.
Well, I'm Joe Kalis,
I'm Heather Faulkner.
and we went to Illinois State, and we're both music promoters, and booked shows in 2000 starting, met Park, and kind of, before I ever really knew what good music was, like, I realized that they had an awesome sound, and I didn't even know what that meant. It was just big and tight, and it was awesome, and we just got to know them, and she booked shows after me, and awesome guys, an awesome band, obviously, as everybody knows, but it's a sad day today, but also awesome, because it's been a good run for them. But.
Yeah, they've stayed at our apartment several times, eaten all of our food. We let them stay at our apartment. I came home from work. There's bottles and cans everywhere. The sink was full of dirty dishes. They ate all of our food, and but we love them, so it was okay. What else?
Funny stories, I guess.
Funny stories.
Like when I got in Miles' drum kick case once, just playing around, and he decided to lock me in and spin me in circles, and that was good times. Jokers, but hey, buddy.
What was the other one we were gonna tell?
About the van when we threw.
Oh, we went and saw them in Lake Forest, and on the way home we were driving next to them, so we had found a bag of goldfish crackers and we were throwing them at their van, so they thought it would be funny. They threw like an orange, and we were having like car wars, throwing stuff back and forth. They almost hit me in the face with like a bottle of something.
Yeah,
It wasn't good.
nice.
And when Lad was trying to quit smoking, he had a nicotine. Well, one of the times he was trying to quit smoking, he had a nicotine patch on. And he just one time he's like, "Can you rub my arm right here?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Well, when you rub it, it heats it up and it releases more nicotine." And then he was talking about how it gave him night terrors because he forgot to take it off at night. So he would wake up like screaming, and Emily would have to come check on him because of his nicotine patch. But yeah, so those are just some of the
Good times.
stories.
So yeah, but we love you guys. Thanks for everything, and great band, great people, and we'll miss you, but still be friends, obviously, and look forward to that.
Well, I've known these guys for a long time, and it's, just kind of crazy to think that they're not going to be making music anymore, because for the last 4.5, 5 years of my life, they've been a really big part of it. And, whenever I think of them, I think of one of the most vivid memories I have of when I saw them play at the BBC at ISU. And Asa from the junior varsity was playing that show, and he was just drunk out of his mind. And Lad was singing, and he's got his eyes down, just singing and playing into his guitar, and Ace is singing along and just tapping the end of the mic, and the mic just bumps up into his face, and he keeps hitting him and jarring him up and making him look at people, and he's getting kind of nervous and just keeps doing it, and he just gets so pissed off. But it was just like, those guys were such good friends, they could do that kind of stuff to each other, and it didn't really matter because they just had fun, and they had fun doing it. And you know, I'm always going to remember the music and always have that, but it's just sad that you guys aren't going to be around anymore. I'd just like to thank you guys for everything.
And what was your name?
I'm Ryan. Ryan Clark.
And you're from
Bloomington, Illinois.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Park's always been one of those bands that their lyrics have spoke to me. Like ever since 8th grade, I've always been able to relate to stuff, relate to them through stuff like my mom's death and abuse by my dad. They've always been there as part of lyrics, whatever, that's helped me get through tough times, whatever, and made me the person I am today. So I guess I wish them luck with Wise and Burn and every other thing that they do in the future.
And give me your name and where you're from.
I'm Andrew Moss from Springfield, Illinois.
Right on.
Hey, I'm Aaron Piper, big Park fan. I've been listening to Park for like maybe 10 years, I don't know. They used to always play in my town, Alton, Illinois. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, they used to play in Alton. I remember going to like house parties and stuff and having them just like play in people's basements, and I checked them out at a place called Java Lounge. They used to play out a lot. It was pretty cool. I used to have a cassette tape of Park, and they used to rock it all the time. Favorite song ever, Vine. It was on that cassette tape. I lost it, and I've never heard it since. They never play it live. I never get to hear it. They forgot how to play it, but it's kind of a bummer. But I love them. I'm excited to be here tonight to see their last show. I've seen lots of shows. This is the end. It's kind of sad. But I don't know. Guess that's all I got.
Everything that all that is, we are from Battle Creek, Michigan, and we would not know about you at all if it wasn't for my younger brother Brian. We have been obsessed with music since I can't remember, and he definitely found out about you guys, and we have spread the word so much you cannot understand.
And I have to vouch for that.
It is the truth.
And because of the fact they introduced me to you guys, and afterwards, after I got introduced to you guys, my dad already passed away, and I really didn't understand like the concept of life as itself, and with your guys' music I've actually had an understanding of like what it actually means. So I want to say that I really truly appreciate everything that you guys do.
I think that we've just all really been faced with a lot of issues, a lot of stuff that we haven't been prepared for, and you guys have helped us cope with it, because music has always been such a driving force in all of our lives, and we've always been really connected friends, and the fact that we could all just kind of bond together with this kind of music, and it keeps growing every album. I mean, I can't really explain it, and we've never been able to see you live. You guys need to do better with advertising or something. I'm not in the whole MySpace cult. It's lucky this girl is, otherwise we wouldn't be here tonight. All right, so more power to the MySpace. Way to go.
And not even that, we keep our iPods on us constantly.
Oh, dude.
And if no one's ever heard of Park, we just shove our headphones into their ears
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like, listen to this song.
Seriously, actually listen to the words, because
It's
that's the
amazing.
thing that has meaning, the words.
Yeah.
It's not only the beat or the fucking music,
More
it's
power
the
to
words.
your dad. Oh, show. No, it's...
Fucking A.
And my girl, Joanne Pollock. Fuck yeah.
Oh, the girl who has a solo in
Fuck
Mississippi. The-
She rocks.
You'll remember this little interview, because when you're playing Mississippi tonight, we are going to lift this
Oh
girl
my
up.
God.
And everyone's
We
going
are
to
gonna
turn
be
and
the
be like,
loudest
who is this
fucking
beautiful
people in
girl
the
singing this
actual
shit?
room, man.
And you'll know it is AJ Case.
Sorry.
The drummer knows. I can't remember his name.
Miles.
Miles.
Yeah, Miles.
Miles and
Who's gonna
Lad.
watch that?
Yeah.
Basically,
Close the door.
what I found out a couple days ago
Close the door.
is that there's two different times in things in your life where you're gonna walk away from something and just keep looking forward and on to the next. But when you leave a Park concert, you're gonna be looking back at it, just like thinking about it all the time. That's what Park means to me.
Pretty much for me, I spent a lot of hours of my life just in a room alone, listening to Park and thinking about the one thing that I didn't want to be was alone, and you guys made me feel like someone else knew what it felt like. And I will never be able to forget that. And you helped me through, oh man, shit that I never thought I would have to go through. And I'm forever grateful for that.
You guys are just great. I followed you guys for like the last year since I've been hanging out with Jeff over here. And I love your music. Mississippi Burning is great. I love it. That's all I can say.
And this is the guy that has, within the last 5 minutes of everybody that's talking to you, this is the guy that introduced it to everybody, you know, in our group from Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, Michigan.
He's my bro, right here.
Seriously,
he's younger and
without
taller
him,
and cuter. What can you say?
I
is Brian.
I seriously.
This is him. This is why we're here. Right here.
He's brought meaning to like everything to us because like he was like, dude, listen to it, and listen to the music, listen to the words. It means so much more to like, you know, somebody just listening to just an average song, and it means a lot more than just fucking words coming with a fucking beat, and
it's all about the message.
It is. You can express that. I feel that you can express yourself most like through music, and Brian here, thank you, buddy, has made me feel comfortable with understanding life situations. So,
it's an escape. You can let go of
Thank
anything
you.
else that's going on in your life. There's just nothing else that can touch you. You're just invincible. You feel like just for a few minutes of each day, you don't have to worry about anything else that's going on in your life. And it's something you can never replace. And I don't know if we would all be here right now if it wasn't for those kind of times.
Times in your life when you don't want to deal with life, or when you think that life isn't something worth dealing with, being able to listen to a song or an entire CD and just thinking, you know, fuck it, maybe it's not worth it, but I'm just gonna keep going.
Depression's a bitch, man. Oh my god, I hate
what
it.
he said times 10.
And I just smoked my last cigarette.
Nice night for office.
So how far did you guys travel to come here tonight?
Oh my god.
We would have gone a lot longer if we had to, if that's what you're
Technically,
asking.
it was only from Battle Creek, Michigan, but
I kicked so many people out of my house because we had a kegger the night before. What can you do?
We haven't slept yet.
have
We
not
left
slept.
at 4 in the a.m.
Some of us.
I had exams
Passed
the
out
day
3.5
before.
hours.
Sleep's overrated. I'll worry about that shit later. It's your last show ever. We are not gonna miss a shit.
I'm actually on what's called intensive probation,
And that shit's overrated.
And I had to get special permission from my probation officer to leave the state. And before noon tomorrow, I have to be back to breathalyze and take a drug test.
So he can't be sipping this. I'll do it for him. That's what big brothers do.
So yeah, speaking of the whole probation, that kind of has to do with you guys. So thanks.
And we're gonna do our best to try and make an effort to stay contacted too. I mean, throughout the whole group, we learned that the bassist is gonna be going towards Just Surrender. We actually met Just Surrender. We knew about them from a Second Chance. If these streets could talk, I mean, that shit is for real. We know you guys are going up. Good luck with it. And I mean, just everything that goes into it. We wish the best of everybody who's involved with Park, anybody who did anything for it, because you guys are changing lives. I mean, I don't care if you don't go to Battle Creek, you don't go to Michigan to tour, that's all right. I mean, we've showed up at too many parties and kicked out that stupid ass rap shit and put on fucking Park.
So that's
And
meaningless.
kids are like,
That's meaningless.
all right,
Meaningless.
God damn it, and that shit. I mean, it hits people, and if that's what it's doing, then you guys are doing something right. So more
Fucking
power
A.
to you.
Yeah, if there's one more, if there's anything else that I could say to you guys, it's just that it's not something that is in the past or that you have helped with, because it's gonna be there forever, and the music will always be there. I will always be there to give a CD of your guys' out to anyone that I meet in the future. And I know all these guys will too, and they will be able to help through the times that that are
helping us through these times.
And
has
I
helped
also
define
think,
us
like, you
as
know,
who we
with the
are.
confusion of like
It's
life
shaped all of
lessons,
our lives.
it's you don't know where to turn, and through music you can actually have like an understanding through your music, and then like you don't know what to do, and all of a sudden like you hear like almost, you know, like a trail to follow, because you have those words, you know, sung to you or told to you through your music.
Such
and
a relief.
It's
To
yeah,
know
it's
that
like,
you
oh
can
my
feel
god.
that way
So
and
there's
it's
actually
okay.
somebody that, like, you know, goes through the shit
Have
that
that
I'm going
release.
through, and that's the thing that like means the most. So, thank you. Like,
Is there
I mean,
any more tape left? We could go on.
Yeah, no shit.
Seriously,
I could
we
be
don't
here for
wanna miss
hours.
the show. We love you guys.
Yeah, really.
that
Yeah, it's
just about
fucking
says it
rock.
all.
Hi, I'm Jake McMillan. I'm 16. I'm from Berrytown, Illinois. And I drove here. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm Billy Noble, and I drove here all the way from Salisbury. It's like 30 miles maybe, just to see this show.
We love Lad.
Love Lad.
And Rick Austin.
No, this is.
I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I heart Park.
Yeah, me too.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna miss him.
I'm kind of sad that Lad got his girlfriend pregnant. Then Lad quit. He brought a tear to my face.
A single tear.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Me three. Bye.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Paul. I'm from Marietta, Georgia.
I'm Todd from Marietta, Georgia.
Awesome.
We came together.
We drove. It was sweet. Yeah.
How many hours did you guys drive to see Park tonight?
Well, the thing is, we drove in Thursday, and we drove to Chicago, so that was like 11, 12. Went down through Peoria, and then here, Friday night.
So total like 15 or so.
Total like 15 hours.
So Park's definitely worth 15 hours of gas money.
Hell yeah.
Certainly, yeah.
Especially to see him the last time.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you know, otherwise I'd just wait till he came to Marietta.
Right, yeah, otherwise we'd wait till the next time they're at Swayze's.
Word.
Because that's where they play. Swayze's, God bless you.
So you guys have an old memory of Park or something? They
Yeah,
come
well-
to your hometown, something like that?
My old band, The Whole Nine, used to play with Park basically every time they were in town at Swayze's, like I mentioned. And there was one time I was outside, and I was talking to Miles and Alex, and we're just hanging out, chit-chatting, and then someone starts rubbing my shoulders, and I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. And I turn around, and Lad's back there. Hey, what's up, guy? And it was awesome. And I was like, hey, Lad, you're rubbing my shoulders. That's awfully sweet of you. And he was good and drunk, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was tight as hell.
Kid, I don't know. I remember plenty of times hanging out with my buddies, them telling me about Park, playing it, and like, I mean, I never really, you know, I heard, you know, rock music, obviously, but, you know, it had its own kind of thing going to it, and it was, I don't know, something that I really, you know, could get into, just kind of stuck with me the whole time, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I've been needing. Helped me through some really rough patches not too long ago, and then I found out they broke up, or were breaking up, or whatever. The last show, I was like, well, fuck, I gotta hop in the car and get this done.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it takes.
For real.
I drive to.
Yeah, we had 2 other dudes bail out on this trip. We're like, all right, man.
Birds.
Park's last show. Later. We actually have a ticket in my back pocket if any of you guys want to buy it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
$17.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right, guys.
Yeah, really.
Wicked.
Hey, if there's anything else, I mean, if you want to, like,
Yeah.
say goodbye, like, literally, or
Oh.
fucking whatever. I mean, it's, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just like,
Oh.
throwing ideas, you know?
I'll tell him myself. Just kidding.
Good
No,
stuff. All right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
One of the first tours we went on, we were about ready to play a show. I think we were in like Houston, Texas, maybe, and Lad farted right before we get out of the van. He's like, "Dude, I think I shit my pants." I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." And we got there just in time, so we had to load in and play. He's like, "I need to change my pants." I was like, well, you better hurry, dude. So, and it was up 2 flights of stairs. So the whole time he's playing, and he's just kind of like this. Like, I'm behind him so I can see him. He's just kind of like this. He's just kind of like, you know, like you got something there, and he's just like playing like. I don't know. To me, it's kind of funny. To you, I guess you guys don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'll confess some things. Am I interrupting you?
No,
You're
we
in,
just
dude.
been. I don't really know what to say.
Okay, I got a funny thing. Not really a funny thing, but so I started listening to Park like in like '97 or so, and then you listen to Park and you think, man, Lad's a fucking depressed motherfucker. And you just picture this kid like sitting in his room, just totally fucking just depressed, like wants to kill himself. And then like 3 years later, just like through bands, I met him and got to know him, and like he was the most perverted, funny, like out of control motherfucker I ever met. I was like, what? How does he write all these lyrics when he's a fucking dipshit? He needs to be like a hardcore rapper, like, because if you ever hang out with him, like he'll be like shit and dick, fuck, like, you know, and it's just so it's weird when you actually meet him.
Wolf
as opposed
pussy
to
and donuts.
Yeah, wolf pussy and donuts. So it's just kind of odd when you.
I wonder what her asshole tastes like.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just kind of weird when you actually you meet him after listening to him for so long, and like just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then you told him about the Gatorade incident.
Who
Gatorade. It was Lad in the Gatorade bottle.
That he drank it?
No.
Or
Oh
Eileen?
no, that's a different story. That's
What?
You don't remember the other one?
Oh,
Okay,
hot loogies in it.
No. Okay. So
You know-
It's got something to do with the brown trout, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
I used to buy big bottles of Gatorade when we went on tour, and I would drink it, and then it would just kind of sit around for a while, and then Gabe would start hocking loogies in it.
Yeah, I hocked a loogie in it. I think Lad pissed in it.
Who drank it?
Monine, everybody. What happened was there was this giant Gatorade bottle that just was hot and fermenting. We were pissing in it, spitting in it. He thought it was fine, took it in, put it in his fridge, and then Monine came.
Oh, yeah, at
And-
the end of the tour, I took it inside.
And
Yeah, I remember.
everybody drank out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was wrong. But another
Sorry,
time,
Monine.
so we got a lot of Gatorade stories. We had this like little, like the 16, or no, it was this size. No, it was a little bit bigger. The one bigger than this.
round.
And
Talking about
I was always
when
like,
you cut it
yeah, I was always like kind of antagonizing, just daring Lad to like, you know, do something because we're so bored on tour. You're in a van for like ever.
8 hours a day.
So I was like, Lad, I dare you to shit in a Gatorade bottle. And we're driving down to like 70 down the highway, and he's like, all right. So he gets a knife out, cuts the top of it off, and proceeds to shit in a Gatorade bottle in the van. And
Threw it out the window.
Threw it out the
Well,
window.
you know, shit really smells when it, you know, when you shit and there's not water to kind of catch the smell. You know, like when you shit and it's a lot and it's out of the water, it really smells worse than if it just goes all in the water. So just imagine it's in a bottle and you're holding it and you can feel the heat off of your shit. That's what Lad did. Oh, there's another one though. You weren't there for it, but Lad had pissed in a bottle. We were driving all night to Knoxville, Tennessee. Lad tries to throw the bottle out the window at night. It didn't make it out the window. It just fell down in the side door. And the next morning, Eileen wakes up. She's sitting there. She's kind of tired and whatnot, and goes down to grab her bottle of water, what she thought was her bottle of water, and like takes a drink. Lad's just sitting there. It's kind of that moment. I think it's Dane Cook that says, you know, you're about ready to see somebody get hit by a car and you can't say anything. You're like, blah, blah, blah. And Lad just sees her, you know, and like going like this, and then he's just like, she's not gonna drink that, is she? And then she drinks it. He's like, don't drink that, and she just spits it all out. Yeah, she drank his piss. But that was pretty bad. I feel sad. It's happened though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've thrown cups of piss on my friends.
we had lots of times.
In jest.
I'm trying to think of like some stories when you were in the band. We could talk about Warped Tour. Gabe hated Warped Tour.
I think my whole mind frame was bad for it. I just wasn't in a good place, like relationship wise. So I was just being all emo. Plus, it's like 110 fucking degrees. They stuck us on this stage where like we don't get anything. They don't give us food. Like I had to sneak in to take a shower half the time. Like it was just miserable, and I was just being a prima donna. I just didn't like it. So I wrote this like big thing on our website about how the Warped Tour fucking sucked, and I guess Kevin Lyman.
He walked around with a fucking bullhorn saying, fuck Kevin Lyman. It's like, dude, it's probably not a good thing to say.
Yeah, well, I guess he's seen it and like wasn't happy about it, but he's a fucking douchebag anyway.
Needless to say, Park never played Warped Tour again.
Yeah, that was the fun.
I don't think it had to do with me. I just
No,
don't think they
well,
wanted
we
to
went,
do it.
yeah, it was whatever. I mean, I'm sure he knows it sucks. I mean, that's why he has bands like that come out and just, you gotta bust your balls before you can play the big stage.
Most of them say they'd never do it again. You know?
Yeah, you do it once, you're like,
Everyone I
fuck
talk
that.
to.
It's just a brutal thing to do if you don't have a tour bus. Yeah, it's not even really a tour bus issue. It's the issue of having somebody drive for you so you can actually
Yeah,
sleep.
doing the driving is kind of rough.
I think you should definitely give Miles credit for keeping Park together for so long, because they were going to break up and be done, and then I think he was the glue kept it together for, through No Signal, It Won't Snow, and then Building a Better. So, round of applause to you, Miles, for pretty much doing everything with Park.
Except writing songs.
Except for writing songs. He did it all.
I always just felt, a lot of people that have a talent don't necessarily know how to expose themselves. Lad's really not good at, what's the word?
Getting his shit together?
No, he can
he gets his shit
He
together.
procrastinates a hell of a lot, and drinks. Well, he used to drink a lot, but he definitely isn't the one that's going to go out and promote himself a lot. So that was kind of where I was just like, I know this dude has a fucking talent. I want everybody to see it, And whenever you see somebody like that, you just want to help them out because I know I can do the legwork. I don't have the talent that he has to write the songs that he does, and put the feeling into it. So
I think it's interesting to point out that before It Won't Snow, Lad never drank at all. Then in the writing of It Won't Snow, he was drinking quite a bit. And if you just look lyrically where he was at in It Won't Snow as opposed to No Signal, you can kind of see how alcohol definitely had a dark
impact
effect.
on his life.
Yeah, so not to be a straight edge Nazi, but you can see.
I am straight edge, but I deal with Lad drinking. He doesn't get too belligerent most of the time. Except, okay, we can talk about this. He had a problem really bad around that time where he would drink any sort of hard alcohol. And if he drank and just went to sleep and didn't try to pee, I think he probably pissed on more people's floors than he even knows. Because most of the time, if nobody was around, you would never know that he did it. He just pees and it's in a corner or something, nobody sees it. But a lot of times, if you're sleeping in somebody's house, everybody's in one room, you hear him wake up in the morning, like, Lad, what are you doing? He's up against the wall like this, I'm like, he's got his boxers on and the piss is just hitting his boxers and dripping down his leg.
Oh.
He gets off the wall, falls back, takes the sheets off the bed, wipes all the piss off, doesn't even remember it the next morning. I wake up and I'm just like, Lad, wake up. You pissed last night. No, I didn't. He's got his hands like this, and I was like, dude, you don't have any underwear on. He takes his hand down, realizes he doesn't have any underwear. He's like, fuck. Gets up. He realized he pissed on all of Justin's toothbrush, toothpaste, everything like that. Justin was super pissed.
I forgot about that.
He wakes up, Justin's like, go get my shit. Go get me new shit right now. I need new toothbrush, new toothpaste, Tylenol, all this stuff. And Lad was just bummed out. He had no money anyway, so it's not like he wanted to spend money on somebody
Didn't
else's.
he almost get Steve, the owner of
You
Lobster?
almost got Steve kicked out of his fucking apartment on several occasions.
See,
Gabe was getting rowdy.
I get rowdy
when he gets drunk.
When I get drunk, and I don't really.
That's why I don't really drink much
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't really drink much anymore, but I don't really remember what happened. I don't just being loud.
I think you were just getting aggressive against Lad. Gabe used to pick on Lad a lot because
Lad
I think Gabe got picked on his older brother, so he needed a younger brother to pick on.
It wasn't that. Lad just can get under your skin. He can just gnaw at you, and you can just take it for so long, and then you just have to physically harm him. I mean, it's not a good thing.
Gabe did on a few
It's
occasions.
not healthy, but if he finds something that bothers you, he'll just keep, chipping away, and then you just gotta fucking hit him. And so I did on several occasions.
And if Lad comes in here, you should ask him how his ribs feel, because he'll always do this thing. He'll be like, and he's like, dude, my ribs still pop from when Gabe hit me. All Lad do, I think Lad threw a freaking little plastic golf ball at Gabe, and Gabe just went off. It was just not Gabe's day. Just, bam! And Lad was just, oh god. And I think right after that he wanted to kick Gabe out.
Yeah.
He was just like, dude, I'm not gonna be in a band with him. He's gonna hit me. And then shortly thereafter, we didn't necessarily kick him out. We were like, dude, you should take a break. And Gabe's like, I think it's probably a good idea. If I don't go on this next tour, I just shouldn't be in the band.
Yeah,
he was ready to
I was
not
ready to
do
go.
it.
I just wasn't happy. I think, looking back, touring was not for me. It's basically, I compare touring with going on vacation. The last day of vacation where you have to have all your shit together, make sure you don't forget anything, load it up, get on a bus or a plane or something, and leave. And that's always the worst part of a vacation. Well, that's every morning on tour. Every fucking morning. I hated it. And I was a prima donna too, so I'd have my backpack with my toiletries, then I'd have an aero bed, my sleeping bag, my pillow, and just
not only did he just have a single arrow bed, you know, just for him,
No.
he had a queen size fucking arrow bed. We stay at somebody's house about the size of this hotel room, and you know, you gotta lay 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, no, Gabe's gonna take up 3 spaces, and everybody else is gonna sleep in the space of what one person should be sleeping in.
Gotta have.
So
my
a lot of
rest.
times, you know, Lad would get real pissed about that, and I'm the fucking singer. I should get to sleep on a bed or the couch. He'd always get the couch because there'd always be a love seat, and he's the only one short enough to sleep on a love seat.
He got a lot of sweet places to sleep because of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I need to go get my phone because I don't have my phone with me. I'm
He's
sure
got
people-
baby. He's got baby mama drama.
Cool. I think we got some people waiting out there.
Back a little bit more. I'm back. Are you guys gonna ask me questions, or are you just gonna let me go?
Just let you ramble, and if you sound like you're getting off course, I'll try to lead you back.
All right. Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm not that sauced, but I'm a little. I'm feeling, you know, a little tingly.
Sorry.
So that's like the way that I wanted to be before I got in here. All right. What's going on out here? What are you doing?
I was told to come in.
You gonna sit next to me? Oh, you're just gonna watch me and egg me on? Jesus. Great, I got
Like an
pressure.
old married couple.
No, seriously, I'll probably cry. Can you leave?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead
Okay.
serious.
Whatever you want, Heb. The world is yours. I might cry.
Heartfelt love stories.
Like, seriously, ask me, like, something, though. You gotta ask me something. Just to get me going.
Okay. Well, why don't we start first off? I guess, do they know your name? I'm gonna
Yes.
assume they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
First off, yeah, just tell us who you are. You're from here, Springfield.
Well, sort of.
Just
I don't
kind
know.
of just give me a general background.
Okay, you want, like, my name and
Yeah,
stuff?
Just
give us
just your
something to
name,
work
where you're
with
from, and
first, you know, the whole.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going?
Yeah,
Okay. My name's John Heb, and I'm originally from Grand Haven, Michigan, which is, I'll point it out to you right there. It's right there across from Milwaukee. And I came to the Central Illinois area when I was 19, which was about 5 years ago, to go to school in Jacksonville, about 30 miles down the road. And actually, my first contact with Park was my first day going to school. I stopped at the Jimmy John's in Jacksonville, and I had a Propagandhi shirt on, and I was walking into Jimmy John's, and this kid who worked there was walking out, and he goes, "Propagandhi, you like Propagandhi?" And I was like, "No, dude, I just wear the shirt around, you know?" And he kind of started laughing at me, and I was like, "What's your name?" He was like, "Gabe." And I was like, "I'm John." He goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Michigan." I said, "I'm going to school at IC." He was like, "Well, obviously you like, you know, some good music, and you know, have you heard of any bands from around the area?" And I was like, "Well, the only band that I've heard of is Park, and I've only heard a couple of their songs." He was like, "Oh man, I'm in Park." And I was just like, "Man, you are a douchebag." But actually, come to find out, like 2 weeks later, I was at a party on campus, and he was there, and we just got to talking. So after that, Gabe Looker and I, he's a former bass player, we became really, really close friends, and he introduced me to, you know, the rest of the band, and so I got to know those guys, and I mean, it's just been a great experience listening to their music and, you know, hearing their sound grow with every album from No Signal on, and I don't know, I mean, I could tell a million different stories, and I don't know if you want me to do that, but it's like, Lad, for the longest time, he always knew my face, and he would slap me on the ass every time he saw me, but he never knew my name. And I went to school with his girlfriend at the time, Mandy Stott. I don't know if I should say this, but basically who the entire album, It Won't Snow Where You're Going, is written about. And his current girlfriend, Emily, went to school with me also, so I knew those two, and so I think they both kind of gave Lad a hard time about not knowing who I was, and finally he picked up on it, and now we're pretty good friends. I don't know, it's just been kind of like just standing outside. It's been sort of surreal because I've been, you know, not necessarily looking forward to this because I know it's the end of something extremely great, especially for Central Illinois, let alone indie rock music. But, you know, just standing outside and talking with kids. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt that says Michigan, America's High Five, and there's kids coming up to me that are from like 20 miles away from where I grew up, and They're like, yeah, we've been up since 4 a.m. We've been up since 4 a.m. We drove down, and it's so awesome. Have a beer, man. And so, I mean, just, and, you know, Miles said there's people coming from Canada and California, and I don't know, I heard a rumor of possible people from Australia. I don't know, but it's just, basically what I'm trying to say is I fucking love all of you guys, and, you know, you've been through a lot of members, obviously. I never knew Timmy, but Gabe and Jansen, and you know, now, and Justin, and now Alex, and he's going off on in Just Surrender, and you know, I don't know, Lad's gonna be a baby, or be a baby. Lad's always a baby. He's like 5'4", but Lad's gonna be a dad, and I don't know, come a month or so. Here's Gabe, the douchebag that I met at Jimmy John's here.
You guys don't mind if I take
stink up our breath?
Let's steam up the lenses, man. Get it down the toilet.
But, you know, I wish Lad and Emily the best of luck, and Miles, and Alex, and, fuck, I can't even think of the other guitar player's name right now. Gabe, help me out. Aaron, yeah, and Aaron, I never really got to know him very well, so I feel kind of bad about that, but I know he's married and everything, and I'm sure...
He's a Christian.
What's wrong with that, you Satanist?
No, I'm just for the record.
But, no, I mean, I wish them all the best of luck, and it's just been really, really great getting to know all of them and listening to their music, and you know, it's something that I'm sure that I'll be able to play for my kids, you know, 10 years down the road, and
Dad, stop being a dick. This music sucks.
be like, these are the guys I listened to when I was growing up. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll be jamming Operation Ivy like I was when I was 8. So I don't know. That's about it. Cheers. Good luck, guys.
What are we supposed to say on this thing?
I don't know, man. What do you want to say?
What's this about, Park?
Yeah.
Who's black? Not as funny. I love Park.
Where'd you guys come from again? You guys live here,
downtown.
right? You guys live here, right? You guys had the short drive out of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I came from St. Louis. There's some people from Florida, from California.
Yeah, I've seen from all over the place.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, guys.
Oh, are we gone?
Yeah, it's on. So
we're doing it?
No pressure, yeah.
No pressure?
Oh, wait a minute. No. No, sure.
Oh, dude. You have enough tape?
No, it's
This might take forever. This might take the whole DVD.
Okay, we got 59 minutes. So
59 minutes? All right, I'm taking that. At least taking the other.
Okay. I'm gonna start in 6.
You guys shut up.
I got time.
Hey. Hey.
Quiet on the set, please.
Alright, so we came in together because this is kind of hard. I'm Eileen. I'm from New York, and I've known Park for about 6 years.
I am Luis. I'm from Albuquerque, El Paso, and I've known Park for about 7 years, 7 years, since 2001. 6 years.
I think the way that we're going to kind of try to do this is we're going to ask each other questions, because I don't think that we're going to be able to cover everything in this kind of state. So, start with you. How do you feel now?
Kind of sad. Another chapter in my life gone away, and moving on to the next chapter. Meeting Park was a big thing in my life. It actually brought me out from a big hole that I was in. They asked me to tour with them. I was a tour manager for about, I don't know how many years, and when they asked me, I was in a very low time in my life, and for them to ask me was just very amazing, because they're an amazing band. So yeah, I toured with them. I thought that it was going to be like a crazy, insane rock band that just parties a lot and just goes nuts. So I was like, fuck yeah, I want to party with these guys non-stop. But they actually brought me out of my little hole and made me feel like a family, and totally just got me out of my funk. Lad, Miles, Gabe at the time, Justin, and the first time, can I tell you the first time I met them?
Well, actually, the first time I met them was in Bow Wow Records in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They called me up and they're like, "Can we play a show?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." They show up last minute. I was about to cancel the show, and they roll in, just freaking out. Threw all the equipment on stage, started playing. As they were leaving, there's like, "Wish us luck." I was like, "Why?" "Well, our van's causing us trouble." Halfway to California, they're going to Warped Tour, and their van caught on fire. They told me this story actually, but the second time.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, their floorboard caught on fire because their whole engine overheated, and they're rolling into Warped Tour with smoke coming out of their van, and I don't know, that's what they told me. But second time I met them, they called me up. They're like in El Paso. I booked them a show, a free show, at God, I forgot where, some little dinky bar. It was a free show, but I booked them a show, and they called me up. They're like, "We're gonna roll in about 4 or 5 in the morning." It's like, fuck, dude, I need my beauty sleep, but yeah, go ahead. They showed up, and Gabe actually ran in the front door with his whitey tighties on. I was like, what the fuck? Nothing but whitey tighties just running through the front door. I was like, oh, what I get myself into? And Lad comes running in, starts humping my leg. Good old Lad. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Miles, big old dude, kind of freaked me out when I first saw him. He was like, "Hi, thanks for letting us stay at your house." And Justin, you know, the crazy Italian, slow talking kind of fellow, just walking in with his bags, fell asleep on a flippin' fuck, and that was the second time. And that was actually the night that they asked me to tour manage them. Was I guess they felt comfortable because I accepted them with their whitey tighties and their leg humping and all that craziness. But yeah, they definitely helped me out through a lot of tough times, a lot of memories. Good old chapter in my life, and the best band I've ever tour managed by far. And I met great people like you. Stayed at your house in San Diego.
See, what I don't think a lot of people know, it's so crazy. I mean, I've worked with a few bands now, and there is just no community like there is with the fans of Park. I know that sounds cheesy, but like, people keep saying it as they're coming in the past couple of days. They're like, God, is everyone that likes Park so nice? And we just like automatically just want to like kind of hug each other. And I know it sounds like a bunch of hippies, but it's just like, you have a commonality. This is some, I don't know, even though it's in this indie rock umbrella, it's different, and there's a lot of soul behind it, and I think that we have these personal connections to it for our own reasons, but, you know, you kind of see the guy next to you and you're like, yeah, I feel this too right now.
Yeah.
I met Park because I was working at a radio station, and their CD crossed by my path, and you just listen to dozens of CDs every day, and you listen to the first couple songs, you're like, yep, that's it. And I heard it, and I never stopped playing it. And I got this amazing opportunity recently to do a documentary on them, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to die, because here it is, these people that mean everything to me, and their music has, like Louis said, got me out of some really shit places. And so I made this, and I toiled over it for almost a year, and finally deadlines creeping up on me, and just like countless nights just staying up, drinking coffee, thinking, oh God, I hope people don't think I'm a lunatic. I hope that they get it. I hope I don't misrepresent these amazing people. And so, yeah, and now we come to kind of the close of this, and I'm all too happy to see these people and to share this, I guess. It's really important. So, yeah.
Tough crowd.
Don't know what else to say, but huh?
Why did you have to go and do that?
Farewell, Park, and thank you for everything. It was a great journey, and there's more to come. Little laddie's coming around.
Yep.
He's gonna be the next lad.
Dangerous.
Dangerous, very dangerous. Park Part 2 coming up soon. And, Thanks.
I want to thank you for just kind of storming into my life and making.
It was definitely a storm.
It
It was
was.
just like, boom. Let me just prance through your front door and hello, we're parked.
And you're gonna love us.
And change your life. It's.
Thank
God,
you.
I can go on for all the stories and insanity that happened the past 6 years, but.
I want to say thank you for your trust. Thank you for letting me do shitty music videos for you time and time again until I figured out what I was doing with the camera and.
They were not shitty.
Oh, love. Oh, it's alright now. What? There was some beginning ones that were just talk.
Okay, I've seen one. It
Talk.
wasn't shitty.
It was.
shitty.
It was close to the shitty border.
Nice. Anyway.
The
DVD you just did was the best thing I've seen. And I told you that earlier. It was the best thing. I mean, it described Park at its best. Really. I don't know what else to say.
Your trust has meant everything to me. So, yeah. Thanks. We're done.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to tell all you out there, President Bush is #1. Just support your country, support your troops. God bless Texas. And fucking, that's right, man. Yeah, Leonard Skinner, man. Rest in peace.
Crook from Denton, Texas.
And Jeff Pursley from Fort Worth, Texas. And we flew out of Dallas at about a few hours and then had a layover.
Dude, we gotta leave tomorrow at 6 in the morning.
That sucks.
So early, like pretty much after the show.
We're not going to sleep.
It's worth the trip to come see
Dude,
Park
totally.
there, right?
Yep.
For the last one, if you need the closure.
Definitely.
For sure.
I'll never get to see me.
So, when did you guys meet them?
I first heard about them from the Lobster compilation they put out with music from each of the bands whenever they came out with No Signal.
I think the first
That's
time
when I
that
started listening to them.
I think the first time that we met them, we drove out to El Paso. Like we drove about 8 hours out to El Paso to go see them because they weren't coming.
That's a hell of a drive. man.
Yeah,
I
through
remember
West
that part of
Texas.
it.
Yeah,
The House of Rock and Roll.
Right
Yeah.
on. That's the same place.
Yeah, and that was a terrible drive, but it was totally worth it. And then they came out that same year twice and played 2 house parties for us.
Came out
and,
to my place.
And we really got to know them then also, so that's pretty cool.
And behind the camera here, I'm gonna say that was some fucking badass shit, man.
Do you remember being
the
on
Ponder
that?
show was awesome. Definitely, that was like seriously the highlight of the fucking tour.
Sweet. I'm hoping there's some stuff on the video from there.
Yeah, we haven't put any of that stuff together yet.
Yeah.
So we're kind of putting it all into this.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to shout out to them or get in their face about? Or
Not giving us no more music. Other than that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I basically wanted to just tell Lad that I respect him because of the decision that he actually made. In the beginning, probably not the decision that he wanted to make, but in the end, it's probably the best decision for his family and for his kid. Because as a parent, like I know, like how it is, and like it's really rough, like to make those type of decisions. And I just wanted to let him know that I appreciate him for all that he's done, and for the decision. Like it makes me look at him in a whole new light. So
The 3 CDs they put out,
Amazing.
I'll listen to forever. I won't get rid of them. God, I've listened to them so many times.
other than that, that's about it though.
Just give them a
Best band.
final goodbye.
My favorite band.
Park,
Miss 'em.
we love you guys. We wish that you could be around forever, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Hope you guys succeed in everything that you do, though.
Love it.
I'm Mallory. Well, we all came from St. Louis.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. Yeah.
St. Louis too.
We're from Alton, Illinois, which is like probably 20 minutes north of St. Louis. Yeah. So, but my name is Katie, and
I'm Cody.
Yep.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
And so, how do you guys know the band?
We've all like listened to Park for a long time, and I was actually I booked them in Alton, Illinois, a show last November. So I was actually able to book them, and that was amazing. Like that, I'm I can say that I'm done with when I've booked Park. Like, I'm fine. I will no longer book shows because I booked an awesome show with Park. So yeah, my life is complete because I booked Park. It's good.
Okay, so you guys sad to see him go?
I'm so sad. I don't. Well, like whenever I woke up this morning, like I couldn't sleep. I'm like, man, I'm like an 8-year-old getting ready to go to Six Flags.
I know, right? I felt like I was going to
excited.
Disney World because I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 8 this morning and was just like so stoked for everything that was gonna happen today. And it was really sad just to think like I was really anticipating today, and then but I was also not because I don't want it to end. But I'm really happy for everyone in the band and the progress they've made. So.
Definitely a good way to go out.
They'll keep going. They all have other projects going on.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I'm happy for all of them and everything they've done and everything that they will do. So, like, it's amazing.
You guys have any funny Park stories or Lad stories we've heard about?
Yeah, Lad's been the main topic of the conversation in here. He hasn't pissed on your floor, has he?
No, he hasn't pissed on my floor. The only Lad thing I have is before I booked the show, I asked if there was any like beer preferences and everything, and Miles responded, there's no beer preference, but Lad, like, we all don't drink but Lad, and he likes Natural Light. And so I went to the grocery store and got probably like 60 Natty Lights, and just because for Lad, and he showed up before the rest of the guys did at the Alton show, and I was able to tell him like, hey, I've got Natty Light for you. But that's it.
Did you get wasted?
I don't think so. I didn't see. I was too busy like running everything and making sure everything was all right. But I mean, I don't know if did Lad get wasted. I was too busy. I hope so because I bought I bought a lot of beer for that show, so I really hope Lad got wasted.
Or laid, you know.
Or laid, yeah. Or laid wet.
One of
Like
the
Lad
same.
got wasted or laid. I hope so. Either
both.
or. So it's good. It's good. I don't know.
You guys want to give him a last goodbye?
It's sad to see him go, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like these guys, like out of every band that I've ever loved, like this is my favorite band ever. And they're like an hour away from me, and so they're kind of still like to me like they're a local band, but they're like, well, like a local band to me, but like they are my hands down favorite band. I will listen to them for the rest of my life. Like they're amazing, and I wish them the best of luck, and I'm happy for them. And I know this is a decision that was probably hard for them, but it was probably a good decision. But I'm happy. It's sad to see him go. It really is. And I'm talking a lot. I've been drinking for a while.
That's what it's here for. Spill your guts.
I'm gonna spill my guts. I feel like I'm on Real World. But I do, but it's. I wish them the best of luck, and I'm really happy for them. And they came a long way, and definitely made an impact on people's lives. Like even if they didn't think so, like they're an amazing band that I'll never forget. So yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right, guys.
Are we good? All right, thank you.
My name's Austin Wood. I'm from Springfield, Illinois, and pretty good fan of Park. I don't know, I've known about them for a good part of my life. My brother used to listen to them, and then he gave me the CD, the very first one, No Signal, and I just fell in love with it, and then just been going to shows ever since. Met up with Miles because I used to skate a lot, so we were kind of connected through that, and I used to go to their shows, and it was just really cool. I'm actually at my supposed to be my prom tonight, but I'm kind of skipping out to come see the last show at Park. Pretty big deal. Pretty excited. So yeah.
And you want to give them like a last goodbye and wish them luck and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Good luck to you guys with everything you're doing. Lad, good luck with the baby. I know that's going to be a pretty cool thing to be a father. Hope everything goes well with that. Miles, with your new band with Brandon, it's going to be pretty sweet. Going to be there. So just good luck with everybody, everything you're doing. Alex, with the new thing you're doing. Everything's cool, so I'm excited to hear new stuff from Miles and everything. So yeah.
would love to see
This
Yeah.
is something that we have been treated to many of times by this lovely lady, Carrie. She lives in Denton, Texas, right?
Yes, Denton.
Denton. She has traveled very far to see us on many occasions and has brought us these. I'm not really sure if they're brownies or they're cookies. They're cookies in a brownie form.
I say Carrie cookies, but they're cookie brownies. Brownie cookies.
They are fucking awesome. Seriously, we'll get these. Usually she brings like one of the biggest Ziploc bags you can bring with 2 layers of it, and I usually eat about half of them. And I don't eat anything else for like a couple days. I'm actually gonna eat one right now. But yeah, you can tell your stories about Park now. Now that I've told my story about you.
First night I met Park was in Dallas, and you got a really cheap, terrible hotel room. And first night I met them, y'all invited me back to the hotel room, and we watched. Shut up, y'all. We watched something ridiculous. It
was some scary movie, like I don't know.
It was like bad scary.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
It was really bad.
Scary. And
What Vlad did?
I was.
Anything funny?
I was sold. Oh, probably.
Tell me a good Vlad story. I know there's lots of them.
Oh God, I was there in the parking lot at Taco Cabana, and y'all went inside, and Lad and I sat in my car and drank and smoked. Back when we smoked,
And back when he drank.
And when he drank, and a lot. And he went up and kicked. Was it Justin or was it you in the nuts?
I think it was Justin.
Yeah, kicked Justin like hard, like he was,
Justin was
puking and crying.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I remember that clearly, and I remember how Aaron wanted to go swimming all the time when y'all were at my place in July.
It was too cold.
And
we did go a couple times.
Mhm.
There was a couple hot girls at the pool. It was cool.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mhm.
And we did some underwater filming, which hopefully I hope is going to be on this DVD
did.
somewhere. So take this quote right here. Underwater filming was at her pool, where we pretended like we were talking to the camera underwater. And like swimming around. It was all goofy and stupid, but we thought it was cool.
That was
at
in
the
Denton,
time.
Texas, by the way.
Denton, Texas. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Get these to some other people. Well, I need the other guys. All need one. I need to just hand one to every guy.
That's true.
Every guy. All right.
Thanks.
Well, you guys know me. Played many shows together, and pretty much since the first time heard you guys, that changed my musical influence. And you know that our band and Aaron, you know, he wouldn't be a part of the band right now if we didn't first hear you guys and start, you know, our band around it, basically. Basically, my favorite Park memory or story was the first time that we met you guys, because I was pretty nervous, even though you guys knew that we were really big fans. You were totally cool to us. It wasn't like you were, you know, bigger than life. You were so real and down to earth, and I think that's what made us want to be like you guys' music. So, love you guys. See you later.
I'm Frankie from St. Louis, and I'd have to say my favorite moment with Park was probably when we played a show with them right after they got off tour, and just getting the chance to play with them was really cool.
My name's Mike, Wood River, Illinois. Favorite memory would be right around the same time, because me and him are in 2 different bands. We played with him in Alton, Illinois, at a little place called Mineral Springs Mall. It was a good time. Everybody had a lot of fun, and
that's about it.
But
any of you had sex with Park?
Oh yeah, we did.
Twice.
We definitely went in the back room and had some sex.
Had a few.
It's kind of wild.
A few times.
Did Lad ever piss in your house?
Yeah, it was crazy. He pulled it out and we weren't expecting it, but he did it anyways. It was against our will, but
he just kind of went everywhere.
I know. Sometimes you can't help that sort of thing. There's been times when I wanted to do that, but I just wasn't brave enough. You guys got any other questions?
Any other questions?
Make up other stuff.
Tell us whatever you want, man. It's
When did you guys lose your virginity?
I think it was freshman year, about 14.
When did we? God. You said 14?
Yeah, it was something like that.
I guess I was 28 at the time.
You were pretty old, so
I know.
you probably go to jail for that.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty nasty.
It was gross. But nothing against homosexuality. It's all cool.
What's your name? Alright, this is Jade Willow from Springfield, Illinois. You're being shy, aren't you? Alright, deal's off then, dude.
Well, you can do it. Don't worry about it.
Just tell him. Alright, if you had to pick between Candy and Park, what would you pick? Okay, good. Do you like Park? Yeah. Do you want to talk about Park, the band? No, are you nervous? Well, she's a Park fan. I think all bets are off, guys. Alright,
That's
bedtime.
okay.
Alright, well, I'll say something.
I'll let him say something.
Alright. I'm Adam. I'm from Springfield. I went to high school with Miles, and I've known Miles and Lad for, I don't know, probably 10 years. So I just want to wish them the best of luck, and wish Lad
Happy baby making.
good luck being a dad, and that their music is awesome, and yeah, the show was great.
You want to do your closing? Remember you said. She loves Park. They changed her life. All right. That's all we need. Yeah, that was good.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I got a good Texas story.
Tell me.
Okay. So
Wait,
we played El Paso.
Parts is parts. They
Okay.
donate, like if you
And
organ
Justin
donor, you
and
donate your whole
Tammy
body.
Go across
Yeah,
the
no.
border,
I'm only doing.
and they bring back these bottles of mezcal.
Where does it say
And
no
I've
and no
drank tequila
images?
before, but never mezcal. So
Right.
they each have
How
like
do
two
you
bottles to
tell them not to
themselves.
do that? You're dead.
So they come back,
Your mom's
and
gonna
we
tell
get in the van, we start
Okay.
driving. I
Hey,
think we go
hey,
to San
hey.
Antonio
Come
or
on,
something
lean on
like
someone
that.
else.
And
Here, you can lean on me now. There you go. There you go.
And
barf,
so we
I'll
get
be
to where we're
crazy.
going. Oh, he's on my Timmy and Justin start drinking this shit, and I'm like, all right. And
You guys were in
I
Denny's.
start drinking
They're
it,
both
and then
vicious.
like, make a
What?
long story short,
We're in Denny's.
I eat the. We're two with Armor for Sleep.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Oh, Copeland.
I ate the fucking worm.
No,
and I
Copeland.
I was
Let's
like, I'm-
No, both of them.
Copeland?
Yeah, we're Copeland and Armor for Sleep.
What?
Copeland and Armor for Sleep.
Okay,
So
both.
I go to sleep and I fall asleep listening to Sigur Rós, and it was the most religious experience of my life.
Because I was fucking your ass. And they stink. I didn't enjoy it all.
I felt some amount of pressure.
You need a shower, dude.
And then I felt
A shave.
a release of liquid.
You're gnarly, dude.
You got 3 gallons of man milk spilled in it.
Man, dude,
Hey, he went a little heavy on the clam sauce. That
Well,
night.
it happens.
Hey, dude, whatever, man. I was blowing up.
Hey, all I know is
I was drinking those protein shakes, that's why. I apologize.
I was filled with baby gravy. That's
Oh.
all it was. He filled me out like an application.
Oh.
It was fucking.
Done.
But anyway, I wake up, I shit, I poop out all the man gravy. Anyway, I get in
It's all me, man.
What'd you drink, dude?
I crawl to the van. Every time, like, you know how like you fart, like, and it kind of smells. These were like, and it was like, it was like the most
Like pungent?
repugnant fucking. It smelled like dead.
You're breakdancing all the way.
It smelled like Fallujah. It smelled like fucking Fallujah. It was like, wow, did we just get bombed by Saddam? It smells like fucking chlorinated gas. And it was horrible, dude.
I apologize for that, but here's the thing.
Get off. And so we get to the show and no air conditioning. And I'm sitting there thinking I'm the only one that has it rough. Oh my god, dude. We have to play that. Lads, you'll be fine. I'm like, dude, there's no moisture left on my body. I feel like Ramses. You know, I'm a fucking mummy. It's fucking stupid.
Dude, I think you
like,
sucked all my moisture
and
out
they're
of
like,
me.
it's fine, dude. It's cool, dude. You'll be cool. I get like 2 words out of my mouth. Yeah, what's that? And it fucking no moisture in my voice. It's sort of like, it sounds like just a little mule getting fucked, you know.
You
Justin's over there counting.
Oh, what do you got
money,
there,
you know?
man? I'm some good boy. You still make those?
Yeah, dude.
You guys see me crying like a little bitch,
Yeah,
right? On stage.
You were crying?
Yeah. Tonight?
Like a little bitch.
Justin.
Dude, Park was like 10 years of my life. That was like my life. Even like the last year,
It's
like.
amazing though.
No, a year ago.
Seriously.
When I quit, like I got done with
Seriously.
the album, and I was like, I'm done. I'm doing my. But they kept going. So
Right, check this out. Okay.
But tonight is just like, it's actually done. Like, I wasn't that upset then.
You'll have a reunion.
Then you know, it's like
No.
okay, I'm
No,
done,
no,
but
no.
they're gonna keep going, and you know, and,
I'll just do it
like
here.
strong, but.
One of the best memories I have. One of the best memories I have from Justin. This is me not fucking around. I'm trying not to be drunk, but we went to a bar. Well, we were recording in California, the last album, and we come back, and I was like, "So what are you gonna do when you come back from recording the album?" He goes, "I'm gonna quit." And I was just like,
I told you all
and he grabbed me, and this is from a person like no disrespect or whatever. He doesn't show very much emotion. We were both pretty sober. He grabbed me, and we both started crying.
I broke down.
He
Yeah.
broke down, and I thought it was ridiculous. And he
No, I broke down.
and I remember I kept trying
"Why?"
to pull away from him, and he wouldn't let me go. And I was just like, dude, and it was really weird for me, like seeing someone like that who
We're out there in the middle
doesn't
of
show much emotion. Like
this is what Lad told me though. Like we were out there, and
Dude, I feel
was
like
like,
I'm wrong. Bad girls.
Reenact
No. We were out there.
No.
We were in California. We were recording the album.
No,
and I
it's
told Lad-
California, it's
and
okay.
Yeah. And I told Lad, I was like, Lad, I was like, I'm done after this. I'm done. And I was like,
welling out.
yeah, I was like, fuck. And he didn't give a shit, but he was like, whatever.
No, it's not that I didn't give a shit. It was just I'd never seen him like that, and it freaked me out. I was just like, wow, he's crying, and I tried to kept being like, all right, dude, yeah, it's cool. And he was, yeah, it was like this, he was like a boa constrictor, like the grip just kept getting tighter.
I don't have sex with you, dude.
Dude, you want the duck butter?
No, I've always, that's the only reason I've been in the game for so many years. 'Cause you never gave it to me.
Duck butter
You gave me a
platter.
blowjob. I mean, anyways, so I was like glad. I was like, when we get home, I'm done. And Lad told me, he's like, all right. He's like, while we're out here recording, he's like, give 100% on the album.
Which he did.
I did. Yeah, I tried to.
You did.
Yeah, well, you know, whatever, man. I'm awesome. And
the jerk.
I made some licks.
Dude, he
was
was
a
all
dance song.
I was like, whatever, dude. Dude, one of my favorite songs in the whole album was like I had nothing to do with writing it, pretty much. You fucking.
Oh, the dance song.
the
Yeah,
dance
that was
song,
me.
dude.
Yeah.
Brandon, you came over to my house and you were just like,
Yeah.
you just threw a bunch of
Shika,
cards, and you're like, here you go, lad.
Shika shika.
What the hell song is that? Oh, okay. Oh, Justin.
Hey, man, it's osmosis.
That's the song we were gonna do a video to. Remember?
Yeah.
What song is it?
Shika shika.
Oh, really? Yeah, everyone goes chica chica. I'm like, it's
Yeah, chica chica. Hey, dude, I wrote all the music. Well, I wrote. That's why the credits say Valenti Mitchell. I'm Justin Valenti. Valenti Mitchell.
Valenti Mitchell.
No, if it gets huge, I'm gonna get a paycheck. Please, like seriously.
Please.
Please, put on a commercial or something. Obviously, those fucking video games are work.
Oh no.
Yeah, the snowboarding game over in AMP 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I see a dime from that? No. Did you see a dime from fucking I'm gonna date your mom? I got things in the mail saying from ASCAP.
My mom's really good.
No, your mom's awesome. She's great, yeah. I think your brother.
Dude, that shit is
my
tight
son.
like a tiger. What are you talking about?
She's tighter than a tiger. Dude. That has I don't even know what
Dude,
to
she's
say anymore.
fucking old, man. I love her, dude. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, but she's great in bed. You seriously need to just go with it, dude.
Your mom let me feel
Your stepdad is horrible in bed.
Your mom let me feel her titties one time.
mom did.
Her mom does
fake
not-
titties.
She didn't have titties.
She her fake ones. She don't need to feel the gelatinous mold shell.
Oh, she filled those.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Did she make you?
Well, it was weird because I was feeling like a real titty, and then the other one on the other hand, just like by itself.
What did you prefer?
You know what?
I know it's like
I just really wanted to
Man,
sit
her
on the
pussy
chair.
just felt like velvet, dude. It was,
Oh my god!
it was like velvet. It was like
talking about
My
mom?
mom. My mom is a man.
it was like velvet, dude. It was like slippery velvet.
Oh, my mom feels like velvet. You're right.
And she kept going like this the whole time I was banging. She was like,
Justin!
Justin! Get your friend off me!
You're right.
Doing that shit, and I was like velveteen. 10 more seconds to reverse the
I agree. Yeah. Agreed. But
all right, let's get off mom because I just got off here. Let's get
Whoa,
off.
shit!
Oh! No!
Snizzle on the snapple. Oh shit, fuck, dude. Hey, can you braid your nose hair?
Pea brainer.
Oh!
See,
I don't have it right.
Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle was
Dave Chappelle.
I
remember.
Wait, hey, you have the white.
Shut up, Daddy.
Shut up, Daddy. Shut up, Daddy.
No. It's not insult. That's Goblin.
That's a goblin. It's communistic. What? Hey, tell everyone how Emily has communistic pipes running on.
No,
her house.
yeah, the pennies. All the copper. They're gonna build some.
He wouldn't eat the pizza at her house one night because he thought her house was made of communistic pennies.
They were, but I ate the pizza. I ate it anyway.
And then her mom still has the
thing we was trying out the back.
Yeah, the grid
Hey.
how to bomb Saddam.
Yeah, I figured it
And
out,
then
man.
her mom woke up the next morning and goes, "What the fuck's all this shit?" And then you come down with your head down, and there's like just a big grid. It says I-9.
Your
I sucked
shit,
the
your
battle
shit is fucking made out of copper. That's crazy.
It's my parents. It's not me.
No, it's you.
Hey, you're talking.
She's a communist.
Are you? What is it?
What?
Are you a communist?
Socialist.
Socialistic?
Communistic.
Pinko?
Oh, worse than that.
What? You can communicate.
Okay.
Whisper it in my face. Yeah,
She's a
dude. I'm having a baby with her. You gotta tell me this shit.
That's the thing. You think it's your baby? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's mine. Bang. I'm having a baby there too. We're gonna fight. They're twins. One's yours, one's mine. That's fine. We're gonna start a band.
Separate sacks. Can we call the band Separate Sacks? Hello, we're Separate Sacks from Cleveland, Ohio. The baby is entombed in a
What was the
prison.
question? I asked you earlier.
I didn't know.
Dude, where'd you get? Hey, did he steal those?
Is that
glasses
video
from
camera
Iceman?
on?
Did he steal them on the whole time? I think he got this from Iceman.
You see? Hey!
No.
Because I think my roommate, when I masturbated, had a video camera watching. Hey, what up? Thank God. Get out.
Later. Hey, is your dick really as big as a dragon's tail?
I don't even know what that means.
He's weird, man.
Okay, so hey, did you steal those from Tomcat?
Did you guys get me crying in front of like 600 people? Like,
Yeah, you said it
We
32
already
times.
addressed that.
I feel weird about that.
Dude,
Some
emotions
pictures
aren't
of
bad.
Huh?
Pictures of crying.
Park was like 10 years of my life.
It was 10 years of your life.
10 years.
Yeah,
10
it's almost
years.
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years of my life actually.
You're right.
On the 13th of May, it'll be 11 years. That's when I joined. Bitch.
Mother's Day '96 we played. You weren't even in the band. You weren't even in the band yet.
No, I
was in.
And you saw us, you're like, you guys are awesome. I want to join your band because you were in Dirty Sarah, which was a lesbians.
Dirty Sarah. They weren't lesbians.
They were. No, that was the most.
Dude, but Alita had huge fucking tatties.
She's hot. All those
She was
lesbian
kinda
girls
hot.
end up getting
Dude,
married to
dude,
guys.
Her butthole probably tasted like a Butterfinger Blizzard. Her butthole probably looked like. Was that the blonde? No, her butthole probably looked like. This is what it looked like.
Is that the blonde?
It looked like the old Dairy Queen commercials where there's just valleys of fudge. You know?
I think it tastes more like Oreo.
And it's just like you bathe in fudge. I don't know.
It's more Oreo.
What happened to Hey, have you seen the new? Have you seen like the new, like the Paul Newman like all natural Oreos?
So wrong. They're not gonna
What's
introduce
natural?
us. I'm
Have you
Carrie.
ever seen a fucking Oreo?
Are they like Hydrox?
Nice to meet you. I'm just the
Hydrox?
one who
What
takes
the
the
fuck?
photos.
No, that's. I think that's the.
What?
But then they'll have like natural Cheetos. I don't know. I've never seen a Cheeto tree ever. In my
Why are you guys making?
Cheetos?
Wait.
Cheetos. I've never ever seen a Cheeto.
Are you guys making?
Hey, someone's
is there another
apples
DVD coming out?
I want
There's
to turn it off.
another DVD coming out.
So where'd you
And I'm gonna be
Someone
on this.
that computer right there is on.
I didn't know
Then Texas.
Wow.
Yes.
The valleys of fucking college.
It's on. I don't want to go over heat, man, because that's the
Guys, or me.
Yeah.
No, man.
I gotta go
I
pee.
drove to Mid-
Hi, my name's Lad Mitchell. I played guitar and sang for Park for 10 years. Park was formed in January of 1996 by John Heipel and Justin Valeni. John played guitar and sang, Justin played bass, and Eric Leip was the drummer. I think I joined Park in May of 1996. I saw them play a show here in Springfield. One of my old bands was playing, and I went up to them after the show and asked them if they needed another guitar player, and they were like, yeah, come to practice. And so practiced with them a couple times, and that was basically that. We released 2 7-inches. The first one was called Mood Ring. That was released on John's label called Sam the Cat Records. And the second one we did was a split with a band called Civic called The Sound of Sirens that I would believe was on Playing Field Records out of Champaign. In 1996 we released our first full length called Scene 14, and that was released on a label out of Champaign, Illinois. After we did a few tours, John decided to quit the band and go back to school. Me, Justin, and Eric still tried to hold it together for a little bit as a 3-piece, which did not last very long since John took on most of the booking responsibilities and the financial responsibilities. So after a very short period of time of his leaving, we disbanded. After the first version of Park broke up and the new version formed, I always felt that John and Eric never really got that amount of props that they were supposed to be awarded, since the very first version of Park was us, like, everyone getting their feet wet doing the first tours, and everyone gaining that experience. Because when me and Justin got back into the groove of doing the newer version of Park with Timmy and Miles, we kind of had a bit more of an idea of what to expect. So I met Miles at a locally run skate shop here in town. There was a skate shop, and then there was a coffee shop / venue, and they were both kind of in the same place. And it's kind of a local hangout for kids to go to, and he was there, and he would always ask me. We'd talk about music and chit chat and whatnot, and he was always kind of on me about going over to his house and jamming and playing with him. And I really had absolutely no desire because he was young, and it was a stupid way of thinking, but I didn't think he'd be that good, and he turned out to be an absolutely amazing drummer. And that's kind of how we first started to hook up, and we got Timmy to come play bass, and a little while longer, Steve Lubarski, the owner of Lobster Records, called and said that he was interested in doing stuff with us. And so instead of doing this new band that we were going to do, I kind of passed along the idea of just, hey, why don't we just still be Park, and we'll call Justin and see if he might want to play guitar. So we did that, and Justin was down, and we went out to California and played a show, and a contract in the mail a few weeks later. After we signed the contract from Lobster Records, we started writing new material for that would ultimately be No Signal. We pretty much ditched all the other material that we had, so that was a pretty exciting time writing all those songs that would eventually end up on that album. We signed a 3-album contract deal with Lobster Records and immediately began writing songs that would ultimately end up being on No Signal. The writing process for that album was, completely different than the other two albums because it was a group collaboration effort. Everyone would sit down and we'd all write songs together, and it actually remains my favorite like writing process of an album because there was so much group effort in it, and it was not just a one-person, one-sided view to everything. After we were getting all the material gathered for No Signal, we started looking for a producer, and we stumbled upon the name Cameron Webb, and we'd never heard of him. So we started talking to him on the phone. Me and Miles did, which was it's a really good experience. He seemed like a really nice person. He didn't have a very much producing experience. He'd been doing a lot of engineering work. I think this album would have been his second one that he did. We met with him out in California. We were sending demos back and forth and making suggestions on what to change and whatnot. We had a few days of pre-production, and where he basically tore us down a lot and basically told us that we needed to learn how to arrange a song, that we had a good grasp on writing parts, but putting them together was not a strong suit. So we sat in a little room for 3 or 4 days and just rearranged a lot of songs, and in the long run it really helped us as writers, learning how to more utilize that process, because in the past we just done, had like 11 parts in a song and just tried to glue them together instead of having 3 or 4 good parts that were necessary. So he really helped us in that aspect. The recording process for No Signal was probably one of the best experiences in the studio I can remember. None of us had ever been in that type of an environment before. As usually we were doing demos, and it was in and out like within hours of us walking into the studio. And I think this time we had 10 or 11 days in the actual studio. So none of us really knew what to expect. It was a new experience, but Cameron made it just a really, really great, worthwhile experience. We all had a lot of fun, and I'm surprised the actual record got done because we jerked around so much, and it didn't seem like actual work because we were just putting so much fun into the whole experience. And every album after that kind of got a little more workish, I guess, if that's a good way to explain it. But recording that was just such a wonderful experience, and it's just one of the things I'll never ever forget. After recording No Signal, after that was released, the next step that we took was we started playing more shows and touring quite a lot. It was at that time that Timmy kind of started showing that he wasn't having that great of a time touring as we were, which is understandable. I mean, tours, like, it's either you like it or you hate it. So we addressed this issue, and he said that he did not really have that great of a time touring, but he didn't want to quit. So we kind of thought he was holding us back a little bit, so we decided that it would be best for the band if he was not with us anymore, which he didn't take very well. But it's something we've gotten over, and we're still friends with him, so it's one of those things that we just kind of learned from, and it started the long process of the forever changing bass player. There was a tour that we did in Canada that Timmy and Justin couldn't go on. They both had prior engagements to tend to. So we got Andy Wildrick, who now plays in the junior varsity, and Gabe Looker to fill in. And it was a really good experience. We all had a really fun time. And after Timmy quit, we asked Gabe to join. So that's kind of how we met Gabe. And he was a bit of an energy rush to the whole band because we kind of were in a little bit of a rut at that time, and then he came in and brought all this new energy to the band, which was, in my opinion, long needed. After Gabe joined the band, we toured a bit more and started writing what would become my favorite album, It Won't Snow. And it was a very strange writing process. It was not as collaborative as No Signal was. I had a lot more involvement in writing the songs than anyone else did. We all still had a collaborative feel to it, but I was going through some personal issues that were just that I needed to address by myself, and I think we all did a pretty good job of like pulling together, like, because everyone in the band knew that I was dealing with these things, and that this was kind of a therapeutic way for me to dismiss them. One of the things I think helped the writing process and for It Won't Snow is since I was dealing with so many personal issues, I went to Florida for a couple, 3 months to live with my mom and just kind of clear my head of things. And I took a 4-track recorder and a bass and a drum machine and a guitar and wrote what would ultimately become the album, It Won't Snow. And they were just all of the rough demos and brought them back, and everyone, you know, we sat around and how can we make this better, you know? So we at least had like a rough blueprint of what the album was going to sound like, and I thought it was a step up from No Signal, and it was going to step up in another direction. So, and everyone was very supportive of the songs, and it was overall a pretty good experience. And I think it was a good move for me to go down there and be by myself for a little bit, because it really was just an eye-opening experience. And being by yourself like that, I think can be very therapeutic for a songwriting process. Recording It Won't Snow is a little different than No Signal. It was a little bit more of a work environment, and most of the sessions, the vocal sessions anyways, consisted of me spending the night in the studio, because the guys would be like, "Hey, you got vocals this long?" "Yeah, I got vocals." That, 20 minutes later, go fast. So I'd do that, spend the night in the studio, write the vocals for whatever songs I was going to record the next day, which is a bad habit that I've picked up, but I think I work a little bit better under pressure that way. But overall, it was a really good experience recording that album. Gabe being in the studio was an experience. I remember a couple times we got did I tell you guys the story about me getting drunk and outside the Sportsman? Is that on here?
Yeah.
Me and Gabe and Justin and I can't remember, a couple other people went out to this place called the Sportsman Lounge in Santa Barbara, and or maybe it's in Goleta, I can't remember, but I was starting to do vocals the next day, and Gabe decided that I was too drunk and that I needed to evacuate what was ever in my system, and so he picks me up by my feet and starts spinning me around, being like, "You need to throw up," and then it really wasn't working. All the time my head was hitting the freaking pavement, just bounce. So he's a pretty big guy, and he's a pretty tough person, and I was like, well, I'm pissed off now, so I go and tackle him or something, and he just beats the shit out of me. He throws me in a thorn bush. So the next day, he got me in a scissor lock too, which fucked up my ribs. And so the next day I couldn't breathe right, because I had freaking these bruised, funky ribs, scratches all over my face, and I'd been thrown in a thorn bush. And I think the best part about it is when I got thrown in the thorn bush, I just kind of stayed in there. He was like waiting for me to come out, and I was just like, I got my ass kicked. I was just staying here for a couple minutes, and he finally walked away or something. That's a little bit how I recount the story. It could have been totally different because I was really drunk, so ask him, he'll probably tell you a totally different story. After recording It Won't Snow, we did the most amount of touring that we would do as a band. We would do, I think, 2 months at a time, and it got a little rough there for a while because we were doing so much touring, and at that point it was when Justin kind of started, I noticed he was not having that much fun in the band, and we did a couple Warped Tour stints, which pretty much caused Gabe to quit, because as he described it, it was boot camp for bands, which it wasn't the most pleasurable experience, but it's one of those things that, like, after you get through it, you're like, wow, that was really, it kind of felt like boot camp. But so Gabe had quit, and then Justin started showing the first signs of his disinterest for the band. One of the biggest problems in the band, if not the only problem, was no communication in the band. I could say miscommunication, but there was no communication. Once every year or two, we'd all break down and just be like, "I fucking hate you," and like, I'd do that type of thing. But it's like, it's easier to, if you have a problem with someone, to go to this other person and be like, "He's pissing me off," instead of directly going, "You're pissing me off," which is a stupid idea, but that's just the way it works. And when that tension would get built up in the band, it would just, come to this head, and we'd all have to have this huge talk, and then we'd all be, buddies again or whatnot. But there was never a strong sense of communication, and there was also, like, not a huge sense of friendship, but that might have been towards the end. It just kind of seemed like it was just 4 dudes playing in a band. I might have been the only person that sensed that, since I wasn't very happy doing it anymore. But so I don't know what anyone else thinks on that. But the main problem was no communication in the band. Right towards the tail end of tracking for Building a Better, Justin expressed to me that he was going to be leaving the band after the album was completed, which to me made a lot of sense. He had not been happy doing it for a long time, and I think that was one of the shittiest things to see, is your friend doing something that he doesn't want to do. And so I was really happy for him that he had expressed that, because I know that he had been thinking about it for a long time, and the fact that he actually approached me and was like, I'm going to do this. I was happy that he was going to actually be happy not doing that anymore and actually doing something that was going to make him have peace of mind. But seeing him go was a sad affair, because he was the one who ultimately started the band, and I would have liked to have seen him pursue it a little more and enjoy it a bit more. After Gabe quit the band, we went through a few bass players, and then who ultimately didn't work out, and so we tried something that we had never done before. We actually held open tryouts and had quite a few people that came to audition for the band, and it was a new experience for us, because usually we would just try one person and go with that person, which might have been the downfall as to why we always had so many bass players. But we found Alex, and he came in and played all the songs great. And actually, I think I told him the wrong tuning for some of the songs, and he just automatically knew where to go from the new tuning we were using, which I couldn't have done that because I suck. But I would have just been like, I gotta go home and learn this shit again. You guys pissed me off. But he did a really, really great job. You could tell that he wanted to do it and was very committed. He didn't talk for 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden he just started yapping and yapping and yapping. I was like, God, this fucking kid never shuts up. I wish he would just go back to being, Mr. Non-talkative. But he worked out very well, and we were all really happy with him. The writing process for Building a Better was different than the other 2 albums. Every album was totally different from the next, but it was mostly about 90% me doing the bulk of writing everything, and then bringing it into everyone at practice, and showing everyone the songs. And everyone was very collaborative on the let's try to make this better, but it was not a very group writing effort. It was just working on stuff that I had already done. I think there was only maybe 2 or 3 songs on the album that we wrote as a whole, which actually turned out to, all those songs are my favorite songs on the album. Because it's a little hard to write something and then step back from it and be like, would I really like this? And all the songs we wrote as a whole, they just kind of came out of thin air, so I ultimately like those the best. Recording our 3rd and final album, Building a Better, was like all the other albums, just a total different experience. It wasn't as nearly as fun as the other 2. It seemed like almost rushed. I had kind of dropped the ball a little bit on writing lyrics, and I'd gotten behind on that. There was a couple tracks that didn't end up on the album because I just pretty much gave up. I was like, I don't want to write lyrics to these songs. And they were actually 2 really good songs. But we did a lot of pre-production, changed a lot of stuff on the album with Cameron. Hit a few snags here and there. Me and Cameron had always gotten along well with one another, and we had a couple differences of opinion that were, you'll have that in the studio, but we smoothed that out, and most of the stuff that we had tiffs about were vocals and how he would like me to sing some certain things, and he was really, and I had told him to do that, and I kind of forgot that throughout the recording process. I was like, I want to sound like this, and so he was pushing me in this one direction, and I didn't want to go in that direction, so it was probably equally as frustrating for him. But Justin did not really have very much to do with the recording process. He was pretty much like a ghost the whole time. I think he was dealing with his issues of him not wanting to be in the band anymore, and I think he might have felt like he was holding us back or something of that nature. But we got the drums done relatively fast. We tracked all the guitars very quickly. It was a very everything was very set and went off like on a very good time frame. The only thing that was lacking was the vocals, because like I said earlier, I kind of slacked off on writing them. But we got everything done for the album. We would like to have done 2 more tracks, but it didn't happen. And we drove home, and I got the mixes. I think a month or so later, and we're really happy with everything. I think it's actually the best sounding album that we recorded, and I think we were all really proud of it. After Justin quit, I think we tried out a couple people on guitar. Found Aaron Bickel from Kansas City. He was in a band called Too Beautiful to Die, so he was a really nice match for us. He was very soft-spoken, very quiet. We tried to break him of that habit, which we never did. The guy never cusses, and that annoyed the hell out of me. I was like, Aaron, just say motherfucker one time. No, I'm not gonna say it. Like, when he'd get mad, he'd call you a faggot. But he'd say it in this, faggot! Like, that was just like, motherfucker, you know? That was like the way he would say shit like that. But even hearing him say that was a rarity. So, I don't know. Satan's dick is made of milk chocolate. After Aaron joined the band, we did a few tours, and the last 2 tours we went on would ultimately end up on a DVD that we had met a few guys from a video production company called Heinous Productions, and we liked them all. They were really nice guys, and they came on the road with us for a couple tours, and we had a really good time. They videotaped a lot of the shows, and we started putting plans together for a DVD, which we were watching. So after the last couple tours that we did, we had them come and tape our CD release show for Building It Better, and then we announced our breakup, and we thought it'd be a cool idea for them to come and document that as well, which they did wholeheartedly, and we've just had a really great experience and relationship with all those guys. You know, we've been on the road with them for a long time, and you create bonds with people that last a lifetime, and it's a good thing to get from that. And I'm glad that we met them, and glad that we actually have like tight relationships with them. So around that time, I started not enjoying being on tour as much. I started becoming a little envious of my friends who didn't have to tour, and who didn't have to revolve their life around something like a band. I could never really make plans. I always had to make sure that the band was taken care of first. It was always band first, band first, band first. And I was always a close second, so and losing and having Justin not in the band anymore was a strange thing, because I was a little jealous of him because he got to go and do what he wanted to do now, and I was just kind of falling out of like the whole process of being in a band. It didn't feel like a band. I just felt like a dude with 3 other people who played, music. So I started fiddling around with the idea of maybe not being in the band anymore, and I thought it was just a phase I was going through. I was like, well, I'll think about it really hard, because it's a big part of my life, and I know that I would miss it. So I think I gave myself like somewhere between 3 and 6 months to think about it, and it just didn't go away. I just kept having those thoughts. I did not like touring. I was having no fun on touring. I would basically just drink all the time on tour, just so that I would forget I was on tour. And so I made the decision to quit the band, and I was going to do this one last tour. And about halfway through the tour, I get a call from my girlfriend, and she says I'm pregnant. And I'm like, okay, well, this changes things, and now everyone's going to think that the reason I'm quitting this band is because I'm having a baby. And if that's what they think, that's what they think. But I knew that the real reason was that I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. And so I remember we played a show, we were getting ready to play a show in Albuquerque, and our old tour manager, Luis Mota, runs a club there, and I explained the whole situation to him. And he was very understanding about the whole thing, and I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to tell him, hey, I'm done, I want to go home. And I was being really blunt about the whole thing, and he was like, that's the wrong way to approach this, lad, you know, because I was kind of had this fuck you attitude, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so I was just honest with everyone, and at this venue called the Launchpad, we'd gone there just to hang out, because that's where he works at, and told everyone, hey, me and Emily are going to have a baby, and it was kind of like a huge bomb had been dropped, and everyone was looking at me, and I remember the first thing that happened was Miles came over and gave me a hug, which was a really cool thing. Everyone said congratulations, and I said, you know, we're planning on keeping the baby, and that was going to be that, and that we needed to put all of our plans on hold while I figured out what I was going to do. And I think that right there like kind of spelled the beginning and the end for the band. The one thing that always got to me was like what I said before was I thought everyone was going to use that as an excuse as to why I was quitting, that I was having a baby. And I mean a lot of people have kids and are still in bands. I just didn't want to do it anymore because I didn't enjoy it. And that was the bottom line, and that was really important for me to have everyone else in the band understand that. And whether they did or not, you know, it's to their own accord, but we got home from that tour, and I told everyone I was going to think about everything when it was kind of a, not a kosher thing to do, but I had already made my decision, and I was going to make everyone wait while I sat there and was like, all right, I'll, you know. So I called Miles, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to be in the band anymore. And he said that's fine, and we started making preparations for the last show, and that was pretty much that. After we made the decision to play a farewell show, we started getting a set list together, and went through a lot of different variations of that type of thing. We practiced a huge amount for that show, and when it came to actually playing the show, it was a pretty it's pretty surreal, because I just started thinking about the last 10 years that I've been doing that, and that's like pretty much all I've been doing with my life was playing in a band. And we started out the show, and you know, I think I looked at Miles right before we went on stage, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through this without, you know, crying like a little bitch. And he just looked at me and kind of shook his head like, you big pussy. So we started playing, and I was actually pretty nervous through the first song. I mean, there's so many things that I was thinking, you know, emotion-wise, and still trying to play these songs, that it was a little nerve-wracking at the same time. But the kids in the crowd were fantastic, and they were just, you know, there was a bunch of fans there that I didn't even know that we had, and a lot of people from all over the country, like a bunch of friends of ours that, you know, we would only see usually in, you know, Seattle or, you know, Santa Barbara. And it was really strange having all those people in one condensed place, and it was a very family-oriented vibe. Because usually we'd play in places and there'd just be like, oh, one person here and one person there, and like we'd never see everyone all together. But as the show wore on, I kept looking at the set list, thinking, wow, this thing it seems like it's growing and not getting any smaller, because usually we would do, you know, in between 8 and 10 songs, and I think we did 20 some odd songs that night. And so towards the end of the set, you know, I started, you know, looking at Justin and looking at Gabe, and like kind of like, you know, surveying everyone and things of that nature, and started getting really just really nostalgic, just trying to think of like all of the things that we had been through and everything that we'd accomplished, and that how it wasn't a total loss, and that the people in the crowd that were sitting there singing all these songs, it was a really touching experience. It was just really great to see that those 10 years were worthwhile, and they weren't a waste, and that you'd actually meant something to someone. And that experience by itself was really amazing to go through. And getting off the stage was really crazy because Justin came up and he's just fucking crying his eyes out, and I was like, all right, it's cool, you know, it's whatever. And he just latched on to me, and I was just like, and Justin is a pretty emotionless person, for the most part. It was really strange seeing that all that pour out of him. But it literally took me a good hour to get out of that room after talking to all the fans and taking pictures and things of that nature, which was a real pleasure to go through, just meeting everyone who you had affected over those years. And it was a real special experience, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Thank you. Orange Mont, or we're really near Sacramento, aren't we?
Technically, yeah, it's Sacramento.
Hey, I'm glad the sound guy's here. Fuck, I'd be dying up here. You ever been to the Winchester House in San Jose? Yeah? Oh, sweet. Well, This song is called Fudge Tunnel, so. Thanks. We got 3 more for you guys.
Once again, we will be back on October 23rd at the Creepy Crow with Beautiful Mistake. So be sure to come on out to that. Thanks a lot.
Desperation sets in, holding me close, much like you did. And every line has a face, a voice, it's a sound. My dear, sweet and pale, it's all you this time. It's there to remind me how much I hate this life.
Say I'm
Your lack of interest mixed with those chemicals shatters the hopes the devil had built. Your lack of interest mixed with those chemicals shatters the hopes the devil had built. If this is one of your adjectives you used to wake me up, this morning war has started. If this is one of your adjectives you used to wake me up, this morning